Hello folks and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party and let's try Dropsy. It's developed by Tendershoot and A Jolly Corpse. You can purchase it on Steam, Itch.io, or the official website for $9.99. It's available for Linux, Mac, and Windows. You can also get the Warm Damp Hug Edition, no I did not name that, for $19.99, which comes with the OST, Dropsy's Book of Secrets, and the Eternal Hug EP. And also wanted to mention this is a press copy that was provided to me for free in order to make this preview video. So I'm a little bit in. I've actually gotten significantly further than I am. Right now, I'm not very far in the game because obviously a part of a point-and-click adventure game, which is what this is figuring things out yourself. So I'm pretty darn early, like 5 minutes into the game. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and turn in a quest now. This is a typical point-and-click adventure. We control Dropsy, who's a pretty creepy-looking clown. He's missing some teeth, and he's just a clown, and all clowns are pretty creepy. But you'll find out he's pretty lovable. On his action bars, one of the main things he can do is hug. He wants to hug everybody and everything. Well, maybe not everything, but just where you can even hug this random squirrel. I don't really know how much that squirrel appreciated that, but whatever. So in this quest, and I'm not going to ruin the story. Let's go ahead and watch this. We're coming back to kind of progress our main quest line, if you will. They don't really have a quest per se. But let's get the chicken stole his tire off of his motorcycle. Let's go talk to him. What the unique aspect of this game is there's no text whatsoever. Like nowhere. Not even in the menu screen. There's not even text. The people don't talk in text. The idea here is Dropsy doesn't really understand and he has a hard time communicating. So you kind of see pictures of what's going on, and you kind of try to figure out what's happening. Most of the time it's pretty obvious. But let's go talk to this person who is our father. Looks like, yep. I don't know what that icon's supposed to be, but apparently it means took his tire and he wants it back. So we need to get that back from the chicken. Let's go investigate that. But yeah, like with all other point-and-click adventures, you have an inventory, which is in your pants, which, hey, why wouldn't it be? I've got a few items here, and we'll probably do a few of those puzzles again, just to kind of show you how this works. Now, this is an interesting game in that it's not as linear as a lot of adventure games tend to be. I just finished up what I would consider to be the most, straightforward part. Like, you don't necessarily have to go do things in a very specific order, but they're more like, hey, this is what's going on, you need to go do this, and then before you move on to the next step. Again, you don't have to, but it's kind of presented that way. And now it's kind of the point of, okay, you have an idea what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go get that tire back, which is right here. And of course, we're just going to grab it, because with any adventure game, you just got to find the item and click on it. That's all you have to do, right? Now, you can't quite reach it. He kind of shrugs when he doesn't know what to do. There's a box of like Twinkie cake type things that I gave him earlier, a toaster. Apparently he gets a lot of things. Let's try to talk to this bird. Oh, he doesn't like the bird. Bird doesn't like him. Bird does not equal, or Dropsy does not equal bird. Which makes me think, maybe if there was a way that I could disguise myself as a bird, I could get up there. Like he would just let me get up there and grab that. But we look over here, and there's a lake we can talk to. Oh, no, it's actually a fish who's heartbroken. That's a pretty universal icon, the little sad person in the rain. That generally means that they have something that they need, something that's making them sad, and it's up to you, Dropsy, the clown, to make them happy. Here is a creepy tree that's got a little bit of a face. He doesn't quite know what to do with it. I haven't found anything to do with it. Of course, we will hug it, because that's what Dropsy do. And you only get that message once, that what I presume is like a success message. If you keep hugging him, it doesn't do it. But it does give you the satisfaction of hugging something, so that's nice. You'll also notice it's gotten dark. One thing that can be tricky about this game is to solve certain puzzles, you have to go to certain places at certain times. So, for example, in fact, and there's an easy way to get around that. It's not a big deal, Basically, the time, and here is an indicator of what time it is. And let's actually talk to her. Sometimes they won't, it's kind of odd. Sometimes they won't talk to you directly, but if you kind of stand close to them, you'll see the things that are bugging them. Something about a bunch of empty seats. There's a dime up there, but our stubby little arms can't get up there, and unfortunately we can't climb it. I guess we're a little bit too big. But one nice thing, as I mentioned before, whenever you move from one screen to another, time transitions slightly. As you can see, the moon's moved a little bit. I just kind of want to show you this puzzle. So again, one of the big things of puzzle games is, how hard are the puzzles? What's the world like? What are the characters like? Obviously, again, there's no dialogue. But I will say, I've gotten to kind of like Dropsy. His reactions to things are pretty endearing. And like you want to help him. And again, I'm going to try to avoid story stuff, or at least a story that I've picked up from watching and observing how people react to things. But let's just say people in town aren't a big fan of Dropsy. Some people like kind of neutral to him, but some people just flat out do not like him. And you have to win them over and show them that, just because you're a scary ass nightmare-inducing clown doesn't mean you're a bad person. But let's try to converse with this little girl here. She's sad about something. Oh, looks like the flower being dead is very much disappointing to her. But if you look in our inventory, we actually have a flower. And again, of course, it doesn't tell you descriptions. When you hover over it, you can see it a little bit better. But that's it. That's all we've got. So, well, let's go ahead and just... another interesting thing here that we're going to use now is our faithful dog, which I'm sure you've noticed, which he looks like his face is just covered in blood. I presume it's not blood. I hope it's makeup. Maybe that's why people are terrified of him. Not because of him, but because of his rabid dog. But you can also control the dog. Now, he doesn't have an inventory or anything, but he can get to certain areas Dropsy can't. And he can also do things like dig. So let's dig up this flower. I'm sure this little girl won't mind. Oh, or she'll freak out. And freak Dropsy out, which is not cool. So, alright, let's do this. Let's wait till she goes home. And surely she's not going to stay here all night. I hope her parents wouldn't let her hang out. But then again, one has to ask, why is she coming back here every day just to cry at this flower? Like, go to the store and buy a new $1 flower. But, who are we to question the ideas and thought processes of children? But this day-night thing, while interesting, can be a bit frustrating. I got hung up on one puzzle. I didn't know how to progress. And I just happened to be in the right area at night. And something happened during night that it doesn't normally happen during the daytime. So then I was able to figure out that puzzle. So that can be frustrating. As you can see, you can go back and forth to progress time. I wish there was a faster way to do it. If you're going to have puzzles that are time locked like that, I would like the option to say, okay, like rest here until night or something like that. Again, it's not a big deal since most screens like this are relatively small. Insofar as that you don't have to go far to find a transition and go back and forth, but it can just be a bit tedious. A little bit. Minor complaint. So now let's have him dig this dead one up. We don't really have a need for that. Move him out of the way. Switch back to Dropsy. And we will get the flower out of his pants and plant it. And that pleased him pretty well. Whenever you finish a quest, it seems like that's kind of his marker that he done good. Nope, it's a little flaky. You know what? Let's go ahead and look around here now that it's getting evening. Different people are out doing different things. And there's the bouncer. Let's try to talk to this guy. He just swears, I guess. Let's just give him a hug. Maybe that's what he needs. Or a fist bump. That's kind of like a hug. What's up with you, buddy? He needs some change. Well, we don't have any money, so let's just give him a hug, right? Nope. See, he doesn't like me. He doesn't like me, but he does like me enough to take my money in case I find some money. Let's go to the church. Surely we'll be accepted here. Oh, and look, it's actually the lady from the playground. And as you can see, it's mostly empty seats. This one guy's in the back, but that's just about it. She kind of looks like she's preaching about the evils of what I'm guessing is marijuana or getting strung out. Talking about the Bible and how great money is. Totally unrelated things. Let's have a seat and listen to her for a little bit. I've actually not been able to figure out what her puzzle is yet. I'm guessing we need to get more people into the church to make her happier. And then you can hear her talking, quote unquote, but she's not saying anything. It's gibberish. And there are, again, notice there's no words on these no discernible words on these things. You can't read. I do find it to be a very interesting idea that you're not able to communicate, you're not able to read anything. Basically, trying to give you the feel of being in this world, trying to communicate, trying to make people like you, but you have no way to like talk to them or express yourself to them. It's frustrating in that sense, but I think it's sort of supposed to be there. Let's go ahead and we'll see if we can't do this quest. And I'm gonna call it a quest. You can call it a mission, whatever. I'm just 10 plus years of MMOs have got that stuck in my head. But let's go see if we'll do it. Yeah, it'll be plenty of time. And I'll show you this. And again, I kind of question myself on how many quests to show, just because I don't want to spoil a lot. Again, with the adventure game, a lot of it is figuring things out yourself. But I think it's important to see how these quests work. Again, in the graveyard, we have this genuinely depressing music. There was also a point, and I do want to mention this because I found this part to be pretty touching, actually. And this is pretty obvious, so this is not really a real spoiler. But Dropsy's mother is obviously dead. And at the beginning, you come and drop some stuff off at her tombstone. And you can actually hug the tombstone, even though it doesn't have an animation for it, which I find really disappointing. But when you do it the first time, you get the little, like, success hug pop up. I thought that was a very sweet little touch there. But let's talk to this guy. He looks like he's really sad. He's at a grave. He's an older guy. Obviously, probably a wife or something like that. As you can see, it looks like this is probably his wife. There's other little details that I'll leave out that are in the world that indicate that it was his wife, which I appreciate. Appreciate those little details, by the way. But let's go ahead, and we found this item earlier. It's a locket, and if you're paying attention, not in this video, but earlier in a different part of the game, you actually recognize that picture somewhere else, which relates to this older gentleman. So let's go ahead and give this to him. So he recognizes the locket, and he gets the smiley face, meaning he likes you. I don't get why the top left is in like white, but it's there. Let's go ahead and give him a hug. He more just allowed me to hug him. He didn't really hug back. That's all right though. We got the hug in. That's all that matters. Let's dig up one of these pet graves. That seems like a great idea. I actually don't think there's anything in here. The dog can't really do a whole lot, pretty much, or at least not so far that I've seen. He can get into some tighter areas that you can't. Other than that, not a lot. No, it's nothing I can grab over there. I presume that will be useful later on. I haven't gotten to the point where that is useful. So generally, because of this day-night thing, I tend to just wander around and pick up, of course, with the adventure game, anything you can put into your pants pockets, you put into your pants pockets, right? No question about that. Let's see what's going on in the dumpster here. Oh, somebody threw away this satanic-looking tape. It's unfortunate. Let's look at what this guy's got. Looks like some kind of a pickaxe type thing. And there's another area that's got the S. This marks, it's like a building that's in town or a company logo that we've seen in other locations. Again, not in this video, but I've seen elsewhere. And there's these little tiny swords. Let's try to grab one. Oh, nope. He's like, nope. Let's talk to this guy again. He's sad, and this is a location on the map, or a location, and this is like that S symbol that we saw on the map. He doesn't like them too much. Nothing super interesting in there, I don't think. Let's go into this dark alley in the middle of the night. Again, surely nothing will happen. Oh, that mouse is stealing something from that poor old woman. Oh, looks like she's hungry. Oddly enough, she's kind of picky because I found a tomato. And I try to give it to her, and she's like, "Nah, I kind of want a sandwich," which is strange. Another thing you can do to pass time is to sleep. if you can find a bed, like there was a bed in there. In fact, we'll do that because I want it to be daytime. And and I want to show you this because it's pretty trippy. I feel like there was a lot of oh, okay. She won't let me sleep there if she's unhappy. Fair enough. I was going to try to show something off, but if you're going to be that way, guess it's not a big deal. It's daytime now anyway. And that guy, let's go talk to this guy real quick. What's his problem? Now see, here's what I'm thinking. And again, this is not a spoiler. This is me guessing. The one chicken guy will not, or that one chicken bird thing will not let me get that tire. This guy looks kind of like a big bird, right? So he doesn't like clown. Well, he doesn't like Dropsy specifically. But again, if we wait, we'll see what's disappointing. He's working, which he doesn't like. And that makes him sad. So if somehow, I wonder if we can do something with the dog. Nope, he doesn't like Dropsy still. So let's go into the magic shop. Oh, hey, look, it's the old guy that we helped in the graveyard. So I'm sure he won't mind if we help ourselves to a few things. You got a cool vampire outfits. And, oh, there's some money. Now, obviously, I've done this stuff before. So it's, you know, it's give him another hug. Why not? But obviously, so I've done some of this stuff before. It's not, you know, I'm not just that easy at picking stuff up. As far as pixel hunting goes, that's a common, I would say, problem with some adventure games, especially older ones. If you're not familiar, basically what it means is like there's an item you need and it like blends into the background. So you end up like having to hover your mouse over everything until it changes to the icon that indicates you can pick it up. This game, I have not had that problem yet. I think only one time have I run into an issue where there was something I could pick up or interact with that it wasn't obvious that I could do so. In fact, I usually had the opposite issue where I think I could interact with something because it looks like I should be able to, but I can't. See, and again, the dog's kind of sniffing. The dog kind of tries to help you a little bit because a lot of times he'll kind of sniff and bark at things that are relevant. I definitely think we need to do something with the chicken guy here. But let's go and grab the sandwich since it's free. Oh, no sandwiches for clowns, apparently. So let's see if we can't get her distracted. We probably won't do a lot more puzzles. I might do a little bit more exploring, though, just so you can see it. Let's put in the satanic tape and play it. Get this party rocking. Yeah, she's definitely not a fan of that. Let's go ahead and grab the sandwich. And if you come back later, you can get that tape again. There's also this. I haven't figured out what to do there. It's like some kind of lock, but you can't interact with it. I'm not quite sure what we're supposed to do with that. These guys seem to be annoyed by her talking, or they like it. I think they're annoyed by it. But let's leave from the rockingness that's in there. So now that we have this sandwich, let's go talk to the old woman, and then we're gonna look at some of the various like maps and other things, other options in the game as well, just so you can get an idea of how that works. Let's give her this sandwich that's been in our pants. Luckily, not for very long. All right, now she likes me, and we get to hug her, which is of course our main goal. I love his little victory dance and victory noise that he does. That pleases me quite a lot. So he's sniffing at this thing. Let's take a look at it. So there's a door, or a little mouse door. And I don't think we can really have anything that will lure him out. Even if we switch to the dog, there's nothing we can really do except look inside. And I don't think there's anything we can click on. I've kind of moved the mouse over this. So I have a feeling there's an item we haven't found yet that we need to get. But now let's try sleeping on the little cardboard bed here to see how this looks. So now we have our trippy ass dream sequence. I'm assuming this is just kind of what he dreams about when he sleeps, because he's got some serious problems. But, I mean, he's happy, right? That's what really matters in all of this. And there's really nothing to do. Like, there's never any items that I've ever found. You just kind of walk through. And then, you know, get eaten by this horrific mouth in the floor. Which I'm sure we all have. This is how we all dream, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's got our, and now it marks our little face on it. I don't know if it marks it because we slept there. Maybe that's significant. Maybe we're supposed to sleep at the various different things. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how to get that guy from not working. All right, so let's look at other menu items here. And we'll kind of wander around so we can take a look at what the map looks like. Speaking of the map, now this is only what we've uncovered. This is not the entirety of the map. You can see it goes out a pretty good ways. And there's a few areas that are blocked off by NPCs that they won't let me pass unless I do a certain thing that I haven't been able to find. The map is fairly large. One of the negatives though is there's no like fast traveling. So if you get something over here and you need it for something over there, or if you're like, oh, you know what? I think this person might need something that's way over here. I'm not sure. You have to walk pretty far over there. It doesn't take a long time, but it would be kind of nice if you could just travel over there. I don't think it really adds anything to the game not having it, but it definitely can be frustrating when you're stuck and you can't figure out a puzzle to have to walk all over the place trying to find it. Especially when you have that element of the game where some things are only appear during the day or during the night. For example, this guy is only out here during the nighttime, and he sleeps in the back alley during the day. But speaking of, let's go ahead and give him money. And he goes into the club, which seems odd. Let's go into the club. I think this is a very important game that we need to show off. So it looks like he bought himself a drink with a quarter, which is pretty impressive. Apparently this is like 1910 or something. But I think this is probably the most important part of the game here. Right here. Absorb it all in. Best game? Because you can make a clown do what I presume is twerking? Yes. Possibly. Witcher has got a lot to deal with. But, and just to show you that, I was like, you know, I want you to think, oh man, he solved all, you know, half the puzzles in the game. I don't know how long the game is. I haven't beaten it. But it feels like there's a definitely a significant amount of puzzles. And I'm going to kind of walk around again just to kind of show you the different areas that you have. Give you, again, an idea of kind of how big the area is. There's a hospital down there. Not going to bother showing that because it's a dead end. Another thing I do want to show is the options. We have sound effects we can turn off. Music we can theoretically... Oh, it turns off now. I knew there was a patch. But yeah, before the music would not turn off even if you unchecked it. One thing I do not like is there is no volume slider for the music. Overall, I like the music, but it can be a little bit too loud sometimes, and I want to crank it down just a little bit. There's no slider for that. I really wish they would put a music slider. It really feels like it's too loud sometimes. You can also add this, which if you want to kind of push yourself over that edge into insanity, you go and check this option so that whenever you walk, you just squeak all the time. I can handle that for about 10 seconds tops. You also have some size options. You don't choose resolution. Basically, you can make it full screen, like 3/4 screen, and half screen. You can also save from here. Again, notice no words anywhere. Doesn't say save, doesn't say load, none of that. It's all. This is the closest you get that has like a time and date stamp. And you can of course choose to save and load. And importantly, they have the fart button, which I think a lot of games really need in their save screens. I think you need a fart button. Oh, there's a weird looking guy. One thing to kind of counteract what I was talking about before, where you have to walk around a lot, the areas interact fairly well. As you can see, we're right back to, and not really interact, but interjoin fairly well. So you can see we're already, you know, right back to our camp. But again, I'm gonna kind of walk up as I walk down here as I kind of finish up talking about Dropsy here. Overall, I've liked it. I like the idea that he can't communicate or really understand. Like, he can't communicate with them. He can't really understand what they're saying. And I like how that's pushed as an idea through the game, even through the menu interfaces, because it can be a little frustrating. But I think it's sort of supposed to be, because again, you're kind of experiencing it from his perspective as someone who can't communicate to other people, and on top of that, many of whom do not like him. And all you're like, hey, look, no, I'm a pretty cool guy, but again, you can't effectively communicate. And it's not even just another layer, I guess you could say, is it's not even a language barrier. It's not like you just don't speak English. I get the impression he almost has some kind of like a disorder, like a social disorder, where he can't properly he can't communicate his ideas, again, even through actions and things like that, except hugs. That he speaks the language of hugs very well, but beyond that, he can't. It's really hard for him to interpret things, and only in a very basic manner, which again, I like that aspect of the game. And you can see there's some pretty weird stuff that you're going to run into at some point. One thing I want to show too, just because it amuses me. Put the vampire costume. And I like the little noise that he makes. I will say, like, Dropsy's definitely, again, he's very like endearing. Like, he's definitely, I know a lot of people really don't like clowns. I don't think anybody really does like clowns, let's be honest. And he definitely comes off as creepy with, like, he's got the big goofy grin as he's missing teeth, and all that. So he's kind of creepy, but as you play the game, you kind of understand, oh no, he's a nice guy. He just wants to hug, and he's misunderstood. You know, people just don't get him. And like I said, the noises he makes and things like that, it really does make you, like, you know, care for the character. So I do like that. No hotkeys is another problem I have with this game. Like, I'm hitting escape, does not open a menu. Also, as far as I can tell, there's no hotkeys to do things like switch to the dog. If I would like a hotkey just to switch between dog. It looks like you probably get other characters that you can switch between at some point, but I'd like to be able to, like, tab through them. There's not one to open the inventory, again, that I found. I've tried like IK and just tab. A bunch of keys to open inventory. Little things like that, just quality of life type things, would be really, really nice to have to make accessing the inventory a little bit easier. Especially, again, when you're stuck and you're trying different things. You kind of get to that adventure game desperation point, right? Where you're just trying different items, clicking on different things. It would be nice if that was possible to open that up. Again, the music levels, I definitely wish you could control that. Not being able to control that is pretty annoying. Also, I've run into the domino effect of adventure games. What I mean by that is where, like, for example, the bird puzzle. And again, this is assuming I'm correct on my puzzle. Bird puzzle, where I need to make it look like I'm a bird. And I found the guy who looks like a bird, but I need to get that suit from him, right? So it's like, okay, I know that I need X to solve Y, except I can't get X because of A. I can't A because of B, and I can't get B because of C. Basically, you're like, there's like one step in the entire process that's holding everything up. And I know that was a terrible example, but basically it's like, I know step 5 through 4, but I can't find step 1, right? As soon as I find out how to do step 1, everything else will fall into place, because I already see the pattern, I see the path, I just can't figure out the first step. And then once you get it, it's kind of a, again, domino effect. I feel like that this game has that to a small degree. I think all adventure games have that to some degree. So far, this game hasn't had it badly, but it is there, you know, just to be concerned with. Oh, she's like, no, not a big fan of vampires, because apparently clowns look a little like vampires. Maybe if we just show her that we really are a vampire, it'll scare her. Nope, she's going to hold up that little symbol, which looks familiar. Very interesting. But anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for Dropsy. I do like the game. It's definitely pretty cheap, $10. I'm not sure how long it is. It's it's an interesting take on the adventure games. Again, with it, you can't communicate, and you need to hug everyone. I don't even think you have to hug everyone. I think that's just a thing that you can do, which obviously, of course, you're going to do it. But it's definitely a very interesting adventure game. I've enjoyed it so far. I haven't run into a lot. I think in my real save, I'm about an hour and a half in, give or take. And I finally feel like I'm kind of to the point where it's like, okay, I'm really not sure what to do. And the developers have said that it's not as linear. And I started talking about this before. It's not as linear as a lot of adventure games are. In that, okay, you need to go, finish area 1, then go finish area 2, then finish area 3. It's more, you can kind of finish those multiple areas whenever. You just have to go, they're not like artificially locked off. Does that make sense? There is obviously some locking off of some areas, but it's not to an extreme but for the most part, you can kind of do it however you want. Do a certain area as long as you have as long as you found the right pieces. Anyway, that was Dropsy. As always, make sure to leave comments if you'd like to see more videos like this covering games that you may or may not have heard of. Make sure to subscribe. Leave comments in the comment section below. I think I just said that. Let me know what you think of this game or this video, etc. I will see you next time, and thanks for watching.